everybody, today I'm out in the shop working on a race car that I've had for a couple of years, and it's just been sitting around, haven't really been doing much with it. I've contemplated from time to time into selling it, giving it away, throwing it away, and I just finally decided this is the year and I'm going to put it back together. So tonight I'm going to probably clean up the front end and start shining it up, cut off some of the pieces that are broken and garbage and replace those. We've got several sidebars that need to be replaced that are no longer legal if I choose to race this car, that need to be replaced. I've got a transmission to install, I've got a motor to install, powder coating, brakes. Basically, I've got the car torn down to a bare frame. I figure I'll do a little video and show you what I've got here. The car's an A-arm front suspension. It was built somewhere in about the late 1980s by a guy named Dan Spencer. He sold the car to a guy and they ended up racing it a little bit. Over the years, it'd been modified a couple times. Some of the bars that have to be replaced are like bars like this that are 1 inch and they're 0.65 and they need to be replaced. Like this bar needs to be replaced, this one needs to be replaced, this one, and the same thing with the bars on the other side. Some of the other things that have to be replaced is back here, you got to put an X bar in the back. That's all to make it legal. And these shocks are old as dirt, and probably take those off and put a set of either Kings or Foxes with a set of bypasses. And then here we got the motor compartment. A lot of it's been cleaned up, and over the years I've redone and stuff like that. But I started cutting this side apart probably 5-6 months ago and never really finished it. These front shocks are very unique. These were built before there was coilover shocks. This is actually a Bilstein shock that they made a canister that went over the shock and it slid. And when the canister, they slid the canister over the shock and then they threaded the ends of the canister. Here, I'll hold a little show. They threaded this. They put this lock nut here that would lock down the coilovers. These were actually the first coilovers built like this, and they were built probably in the late 1980s. The guy that designed this car was an innovator. He's one of the first ones I can think of that did A-arm front suspension, where everybody was either doing ball joint or link pin front suspension, similar to what you find on a Volkswagen. This car back in its day was badass to the bone. It was sitting, when I got a hold of it, it was sitting in weeds that were as high as the car, and I dug it out of the weeds and kind of been working on it over the years and stuff. This is the original Toyota motor that was originally raced in this car back in the 1980s, early 1990s. And I'm hoping to put that motor back in the car and get it up and running. I'll do a couple more videos once I get closer to that, but tonight I'm basically going to work on the front of the car, pull this front pan off. I'll probably pull the rubber bumper off. I've got some pieces up here that are all bent up. I'll cut those off and redo those. Got another one here that's bent. We got one that's here that's all cracked. That needs to be cut off. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing over the next couple weeks. And I'll post videos of my progress as I get along. Anyways, thanks for watching RaceBumTV, and we'll see the progress on the, I don't know what to call this. We'll call it the A-arm short course car. This is kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get it as close as I can. Here I got a little bit close right here. But these little scuff marks here and there, those aren't bad. Those will sand out and look all right. Over here you can see, I'm just trying to get it close enough so that I can sand it all down and make it look right. Same thing with this one right there, and then that one over there. Stuff. So I'll go ahead and sand all these down and clean them up, and you won't even know they were there once I get done. How many people out there have their very first freshman project, metal shop project, that they ever made? I made this back when I was a freshman in high school. Our shop teacher said, if you're gonna learn to work in a shop and build things with your hands, you gotta be able to clean up your own mess. I still have it. So what I do is I try to get it down to where I'm not really hitting the tubing itself, but I'm trying to grind down the piece that went all the way around and stuff. So I'm trying to grind this piece all the way around, trying to get it as close as I can, and then I'll come back and I'll sand it down really nice and smooth like this. That way it doesn't lose the integrity of the tubing and I'm not taking too much off this. Then I'll put another piece on, cope it in, and weld it. Know that you're doing this right with when you get done grinding, you can actually put your hands on it and touch it, and it's not hot to the touch. So that's kind of how you know you're doing it right. If the minute you get done grinding, you can't touch it at all, you're going way too fast, you're taking way too big of cuts, and you're putting flat spots in the steel. You notice I don't grind back and forth. I'm grinding around. I want to go with the tubing this way so that I'm grinding it, I'm making it round. Otherwise, if you go back and forth, it flattens out the tubing, and that'll lose the structural integrity of the tubing. Reason why I'm wire brushing everything in the front is because this car sat outside in the rain and in the mud and in the weather for probably 5 to 7 years. So I'm not sure if there's any cracks or if there's any broken parts on this car from who had previously owned it or previously raced it. So I figured I'd start with the front and check out all the welds as I go back and just make sure it's a safe car to race when I'm done, or to go out and have fun with my friends. Well, I got both sides done. That's got a little nick right there, but that's all nice and smooth. That's all nice and smooth there, so I'll put the other bar going down. And the other side is pretty smooth right here, and then I got to put another piece. I still got to grind all this down, but I want to take this part off so I don't heat it up and ruin it in any way. Next, I'll start putting in the bars that go from here to here, from here down to here. Got to clean that up a little bit. But we're getting there. You know, I got one bar that's got to go from here. It'll come up to here, and it'll go down to here. I'll clean up all that. And this bar is already in. I got to put 1 or 2 more. But it's getting there, little by little. I just keep working on it every night, and I'll have it done hopefully by the end of January. I'll have all the framework done. Then I can move on to installing the transmission and the motor. So, little here, little there. We'll get it all done.